see, let's go down to Dude and Nemo. Dude, you can't sleep anymore. No more snoring.
That's what you think.
Give a bed source.
Give me an IV drip and I'll be set.
He could drug himself back to sleep.
Have Nemo knock him out.
But without external assistance, he is awake. He's been awake for however long you want him to have been awake, trying to sleep and failing.
I mean, he had his sleep interrupted by the, oh boy, Colleen's at it again.
Mm-hmm.
But considering it seemed to be managed, he went back to sleep again, hopefully for a fairly standard amount of sleep, because he'd been up for 36 hours.
Yeah, he got about 10 hours. He's good. Or at least his body is telling him he's good. He may not agree,
Yeah.
but his body is.
Mm-hmm. What does that put it at?
It puts you guys at about mid-afternoon. It's about 3 to 4 right now.
Because I remember we finished up, because it was weird that dude was going to sleep, because after the 36 hours it was basically still like morning or something when...
It was about 4 a.m. I think, between 4 and 6 a.m.
Right.
Yes, the day was just starting for everyone else.
Right, and dude just slept through the day and through the night into... Wow.
Into the afternoon. He slept through the night into the afternoon.
It was not enough time. Well, 10 hours is not enough for that.
No, it's not.
So if he only gets 10 hours of sleep, he's waking up at night.
No. From 6 a.m. to 10 hours later? That's about 4 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. He gets maybe get some stuff accomplished. This is a like a Warren hostel type situation. There's no windows on the room we've got. Is there?
I don't know what a Warren hostel is, but yeah, the room you have is internal.
Right, Warren. I'm Warren like a rabbit warren.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of ish. Some of the rooms do have windows. Those are the rooms that are facing outwards, obviously.
Yeah.
I kind of see it as there's been 2 large central rooms, and then a hallway on the outside of the building that has rooms on the left and right of it, so that there's 2 layers of rooms surrounding those 2 larger central rooms.
Yeah, I guess it feels like it's weird. It feels like a concession to human nature that anytime you put people have a place that's meant for residential, any room you're gonna put people in, it always has at least one window, just so people don't go insane.
Unless they're in prison.
Even prison, they usually keep them with a window unless they put them in solitary, and that's got.
I would disagree with that.
Tiny ones.
No, because not all prison buildings have tiny buildings which allow the tiny cells to have a window.
Under Danish law, you're not allowed to live in a building without windows.
Oh, wow.
Anything without windows is unsuitable for human habitation.
Well, that's smart. Our prison system is not that kind. Anyways, yeah. This
also means that you can't live in a basement.
This building has rooms without windows, and you're in one of them.
Well, is Nemo still just standing there, doing his android rest?
Oh, watching Dude and monitoring monitoring the channels. Or
So he can totally rest with his eyes open.
can he? I'm not sure how that works.
Um,
Are they organic eyeballs? Do they need
Well,
moisture?
they're not.
Mhm.
no, they're not. He's an android, not a cyborg. There's nothing organic about him. Not even
Yeah.
the skin that he puts on is technically.
But it's. I mean, it might be a conscious design. Conscious design that he can't shut off that he can't shut out optical input without actually closing his eyelids.
Um. Yeah. Nemo wasn't designed to be what Nemo is. Nemo was designed to be a android that serves human, and seeing humans that are non-responsive with their eyes open is creepy to humans.
Yes.
So he was designed to close his eyes when he charges.
Yes. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the designers wanted to diminish the creep factor.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Which means that I would really hope that somewhere in this universe there is a android designer who decided to buck the trend and has created some truly creepy and disturbing things.
There might be, but Android production is not cheap.
Uh-huh.
If we go to any world inspired by contemporary Japanese culture, I'm sure we'll find plenty of them.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody with that idea could find some very rich sponsors.
An amazing idea, Nemo. On Shinobu, samurai, just like from Sucker Punch. Samurai androids. With red glowing eyes in a demon mask.
I think
And
you're thinking...
Dominican?
Yeah, you're thinking too conservatively here, Mike. I'm thinking
I am.
weird shit.
I am, but the cost to do something like that when pretty much nobody would buy them is really, really high.
I think
sure
you
they're-
underestimate your potential audience, but I'll leave it at
Perhaps.
Yes. Let's not go too deep into what kind of market there'd be for Japanese schoolgirl robots.
No, let's not. So, Dude is awake.
Mhm.
Nemo's transmission monitoring has remained consistent from... Do you remember the last thing I told you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has remained consistent. It's dipped a little bit as time has gone on. And the only... I'll retract a little bit. The only actual change has been that he's caught wind that the people that are talking have been quietly being told to stop talking. Either getting back to work or in their conspiratorial minds being hushed.
Right. That's interesting.
It is continuing, but it's fading.
Well, dude looks around for the clock. Sees what time it is. Looks over at Nemo. Hey, man. Yeah. Well, considering you didn't need to wake me up. No more news on the Colleen front.
None that I've picked up. No.
That's
There
good.
has been continued chatter on official channels regarding the mystery of Walter McCure, but there appears to be a soft internal crackdown in the works on those voices.
Huh. any of those voices talking in the general direction of, like, us? Or are they
No,
just... Okay.
mostly speculation on the veracity of her claim as a member of the Makura family, where she might have come from, and
Right.
well, what exactly had happened. But it seems that official sources inside the House Makura are trying to trying to shut these speculations down.
Right on. Well, so we're still running under the radar. So far, at least. And I'm assuming no word from Cap on the net?
Nothing that I've been able to pick up.
Alright, so we're still running on our own. Well, would mean that we still gotta keep a low profile. The best we can.
Which is what I have suggested since the very start.
I ain't disagreeing with you, man. You just gotta understand that nothing I said was gonna change her mind, and nothing you said was gonna change her mind. The best we could manage was ride the wave and see if we could get to the end, and then manage the consequences. Unless you're, I mean, unless one of the options was, you know, bind her, gag her, and stick her in a trunk with some food and a TV screen until Cap comes to pick us up. I don't think we were gonna, you know.
We could attempt to render her medically comatose.
Well, man, I ain't got the drug experience to figure that shit out. Do you?
I do not.
Well then, I would rather have a not comatose Colleen rather than a maybe we got the coma right, maybe we turned her into a vegetable. I mean, if we had a co-conspirator down here on the planet that owned a medical office and was trustworthy and whatnot, I don't know, man. That still seems pretty fucked up to me.
It's come to my understanding that human adolescence is quite frequently likened to a form of disease.
Yeah, well, you ain't wrong. Well, considering you haven't heard anything from her down in this section, that either means that she has managed to behave somewhat, or she has blown up the rest of the school and we ain't noticed yet. Well,
Sadly, I can't entirely dismiss the probability of that possibility.
yeah.
You did not detect any fires.
Does Nemo have seismic monitors?
Yeah, considering his decidedly substandard notice skill, probably not.
Yeah, alright. Well,
Considering the experience we've made so far this entire endeavor, I will definitely redouble my efforts towards completing my projects and changing my changing my exterior cover.
no shit. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of used to you having this face. I think it'd be weird if you could suddenly
I
not.
would hopefully I would be able to preserve this face and
Dude kind of gives him a weird look. Man, sometimes the shit that comes out of your mouth just sounds really weird. I mean, I get what you're talking about, but still.
Would presumably the data that Nemo would be able to pull on himself using, accessing his his file manager and selecting this computer and pull up the system's info. Would that include information that would allow him to recreate a accurate copy of his current appearance should his face be destroyed in the process of shifting?
Yes. He technically has the blueprint necessary.
He has the blueprint for his own face.
Yeah. For all of his current components.
Right. I've thought so, but I wasn't entirely sure since the rules as written specify that you need genetic material if you want to copy someone's exact looks, and he doesn't have that. So.
Oh no, that's I could clarify that. You need genetic material to create that blueprint in the first place.
Right.
And then once you've got that blueprint, you no longer need their genetic material to keep recreating it.
Right. Okay. But should that fail and my current face be irreparably damaged in the process of switching, I would be able to recreate it at a later date.
Well, that's good to know. Alright, man. Well, I'm gonna go check in with the front counter, see if there's any classes they want me to consult on, and then I'll check in with Colleen.
Very good.
You got anything you want while I'm down there, or are you gonna keep on keeping an ear out?
I believe I will take the opportunity to move about a bit and observe the life and ebbs and flows of the city, and see if I can find out anything useful about what is happening and what people are discussing, and if there is any further any further movements of interest regarding our presence here.
Right on, man. Well, I trust you to stay out of trouble.
I will certainly do my best.
Alright, well, shoot me a comm if anything comes up.
Of course, I will endeavor to stay in contact at all times.
Alright. And Doodle, get up, take care, hit the, whatever the bathroom cubicle is real quick, and get himself freshened up a bit, and head down to the front counter and check in to see if there's any messages or classes that might be on his schedule.
I don't think I detailed before, but I imagine that the bathrooms were all shared.
That makes sense. It's probably, like I said, it's probably a hostile situation.
Yeah, you did mention that. Unisex bathrooms are the way of the future.
Well, as in, only a few of the rooms have their own internal bathroom.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just look at Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, dude freshens up, and then what did you say he was doing after that?
He's gonna check in at the counter to see if there were any classes that they'd put on his schedule or that they wanted him for.
Okay.
He had to drop out and might as well make himself available.
Okay. Well, they're not quite ready to put him in a class, at the head of a class. He is still on assisting after projects.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Um, and he is told that nothing has come up that hasn't been met already.
Mhm.
So just stay on standby.
All right.
Dude is left to his own devices.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I had a thought about that. Now I can't remember where I was trying to chase that thought down. Because on the ride, I'd already checked into what the fan base, or what fan base is left, thought of what had happened to his old band.
Mm-hmm.
Da-da-da. Hmm. Well, if there's nothing else going on, um, all right. Dude is going to sit down and make another identity for Colleen.
Okay.
He's going to put together what he's been, the same kind of stuff he's been putting together, but he's just making one more backup identity for Colleen in case we need to hit the fucking road again with her. He's just going to do one for her because I'd like it to be as generally bulletproof as possible. So that if we've got to stuff her, find a little hotel or something and put her there and then keep her under everybody's radar, we've got something.
Okay.
And that will eat up 3 hours of his day.
Indeed.
So yeah, he will do that. Whether he needs to head out into the world to do it, or whether he can just do it with his own tools in their room, I'll leave that up to you.
Oops. There we go. Well, there's no real guideline on.
Yeah, no, that the focus is really vague on that whole thing.
Well, I was gonna say there's no real guideline on what tools are carried around. You've got a data pad, which will do some of the work, not nearly all of it. I don't think dude is carrying around a toolkit, is he?
Boom, boom, boom. Dude has had toolkits stowed since for
Okay.
quite a while.
Okay. Well, in House Charon, he will need scrap parts.
Mm-hmm.
He needs little bits and flecks of things to make the mechanical portions of the card. The
All right.
needless mechanical portions,
Mm-hmm.
except that they identify it as a card from House Charon.
I gotcha.
Micromechanics, actually.
Well, considering this is a vocational tech school as well as a experimental area, would some of that kind of stuff, at least something he could cobble together, be available down in the central,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just how obvious about it does he want to be?
I mean, he's not going to work on this down in the common area as much as possible. So, I mean, as long as they let people, take little bits and take them back to their rooms to work on stuff, that'd be what he's doing.
Okay. So he's not trying to be discreet. He's just saying, I've got something I'm going to work on, and taking bits and pieces.
Exactly. He's not trying. It's the being suspicious by not being, or not being suspicious by being slightly private. He's not trying to make it. He's not trying to look like he's sneaking around. Like, oh, I got to take this stuff and take. He's just, all right, I'm gonna grab this. All right, hey man, how's it going? All right, hey, bye.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a charisma sneak roll.
Mm-hmm. Make it look
he-
not suspicious by being obvious.
Yeah.
Where the hell is it? Problem is his sneak is at -1.
Yeah, but this is using his charisma.
Which is at +0.
At least it's not -1.
Mm-hmm. Can you start with base scores at -1?
It's real hard. He manages to pull it off.
Yeah. What is the act like you belong there?
Mm-hmm. Alright, and dude is occupied with that for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
Nemo is, people watching the city. What's Colleen up to?
Has she completed her mapping of the network in this place?
Yeah, I just can't imagine that would take a whole lot of time. Unless there's a in-book mechanic for that.
Not really.
Yeah, all that is, well, I guess what it should be, and it's kind of pointless because it's something that I don't think she can fail, is it should be a get information hack check. She's using the persistent wireless. Where are those systems? Data protocols. She is using the persistent wireless to answer a specific question of give me a map. Where are my access points? I would also include information about where she needs to place line shunts, if any.
But yeah, that's what she would do.
Okay. Go ahead and make that hack check. This is a difficulty 8. Okay, she easily passes, and can see that the security of this place does require one line shunt. It seems like it's probably a common practice for internal networks because of the planetary wireless. But with that line shunt, she... Let me read real quick. The book is actually recommending against making wireless hacking access available.
The Shadowrun problem.
Yeah, most hacking requires a physical interface with a system, either through tapping a data line or plugging into a connected terminal. So, and it does go on to say that a local wireless or planetary internet may allow assaults, but such convenient situations are unusual, and I do not see that being the situation here on La Miera. So, she will need a line shunt, and it is placed at kind of a central location to the internal network. It's in one of the large common area rooms. From that, she can choose a line to data tab or go to a terminal. Tap in a data line with a meta tool. She does have a meta tool, right? Okay, yeah. So where she wants to tap her line with the meta tool determines exactly which line shunt she uses. She can't just apply the line shunt and then go anywhere in the building. The line shunt is what is redirecting traffic from where she's tapping. Kind of like putting a roadblock up at a very specific location so that you don't get noticed where you are. Or maybe not a roadblock, but a detour. But that information is all she's able to access from outside the actual with the planetary internet.
Okay.
Also, that hack does not count. Well, this may be a positive or negative to you. That hack counts as a hack on the planetary internet, not the school system. So the difficulty of future hacks on the planetary internet goes up, but she's free and clear on the school internet.
Oh, she actually had intended to take over the planetary internet, but it's a good idea.
Doesn't necessarily have to try and take over the planetary internet. That may require a few line shunts, but
one would certainly hope so.
Finding out where the access points on other buildings will become increasingly harder.
Then we'll move on to the plot of Die Hard 4, isn't it?
I think that was, yeah.
Hack the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Well, that's hackers.
I was gonna say that's hackers.
it is hackers.
Okay.
But pretty sure the evil terrorist plot Die Hard 4 was to take over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then use that to blow up a city somehow.
Well, when you keep internet contained in a city, it builds up charge and becomes explosive.
Obviously.
Yeah. Also, if you're stupid enough to have your power grid actually connected to an outside network, well, then you deserve everything you get.
No, it wasn't the power grid. It was just the internet. The internet was going to explode in that city. Can you imagine all the porn that would be released?
Kind of like stealing antimatter from the Great Hadron Collider and use it to blow up the Pope.
All right.
That's
That was,
right.
that was Dan Brown.
What is Colleen doing with this information?
Technically plotting. Some
So,
point
same
she
as
was going-
always.
No. But she knows how to do it now. She's actually gonna put in the message to dude, we need money. I have 11 million stashed somewhere. We need to get them.
She gets a message back after a minute. It just says, what's this we? Do you have a bird in your pocket?
Dad, I need my allowance early.
Just gonna send back, I need help with this, obviously. Otherwise it would be, I have 11 million in my pocket.
Are you still in class, kid?
I'm not.
Quick, someone call the child catcher. Go and get her.
Is this past the 3 hours that dude's been spending working on her thing?
No, he's just starting.
She gets back a response, says that I'm right in the middle of something. I'll let you know once I finish up. You want to come back here, or you want me to meet you somewhere?
I currently have nowhere to go.
Other than what the place you've been assigned, right?
Yes.
Alright, I'll meet you there when I finish up. And dude will continue working on his little project.
Okay. Sorry, was typing as you may have been able to hear. Oh, does and I may have also missed the last part. Is dude inviting Colleen to come to their room, or was that a I'll talk to you later?
He's running on the assumption that she's got like a dormitory or something assigned, and that's her spot. So he was going to go to her. That's his intention when he's done.
Okay, so it's still down to an after he's finished.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is Colleen doing during that interim?
She has a new project to work on that recently came to her attention.
What, take over the internet?
No, she would like to design a very specific hexam.
Okay. I'm sure this is in the Scheming Kid channel, right?
Not yet.
It will be soon?
I mean, if you would like the details there, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then, Colleen is working on a project. Dude is working on a project. Nemo is people watching.
Mm-hmm.
While people watching, Nemo intercepts a secured encrypted message, or the first part of it is unencrypted for him. It sounds like excuse me. It sounds like Lieutenant or whatever I made him, Paris of the Derringer, calling into March to cancel the request for additional ships. The Raza has left the system.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Raza has left the building.
And I think I got the timing on that right. I'm not entirely certain anymore.
Can I switch immediately to monitor that channel to see if I can pick up outgoing message of the Derringer leaving the system as well? Just for confirmation. Or is there any channel that I can access that could give me confirmation of when the Derringer is leaving the system?
He could try and change his keyword, one of his keywords to basically permission to leave orbit. But normally ships don't particularly broadcast. Alright guys, I'm leaving the system now. It's just orbital traffic control.
Okay.
That's as far as it goes.
Right. And in that case, there's presumably that'd be far out of it, even if they were transmitting such a message, that'd be far outside of his range when they did it. So.
Do you mean even if they were to transmit a leaving orbit message?
A leaving system message.
Oh yeah, that would be outside of his range also.
Yes.
Very much so. I mean, he would get it eventually.
Yes. Well, he'll transmit that back to Dude. I have just intercepted a message from the captain, the commander of the Raza, the Derringer. He's standing down his request for local aid in searching the cloud, as the Raza has left the system.
Does Dude respond?
Well, and hopefully they'll loop back. I don't think Cap's abandoning us.
I should certainly hope not, but the fact that the Derringer is standing down their search is a likely indication that they will also stand down the search for stand out any potential search for us here. While I would still recommend extreme caution, I believe our chances of avoiding discovery has increased.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Well,
It is not likely that they will expect the Rasta to have left crew on planet side, but it still can't be ruled out.
I am working on contingency plans, if nothing else, to keep us under the radar. And dude just continues working. Burning out that 3 hours.
During his people watching, Nemo would actually like to, in his usual way, non-engaging way, see if he can find any indications as to what people you might be able to get in touch with if you needed to get off planet fast and without going through official channels.
Okay. Is that part of a focus? It sounds like it's part of a focus. Is it one that Nemo has?
Not part of the focus. It's just the goal of his observing interaction, monitoring conversations, and trying to assess the local scene, the local people smuggling scene.
Okay. Well.
Just in case they need to find a fast ship to take him to take 2 men and a child to Alderaan fast without Imperial entanglements.
What we can do mechanically is dude actually has a focus that does exactly that. However, no, I don't even think that there's a role component to it, is there, Matt? At least not for just basic use.
You can always find free transport to a desired destination for yourself and a small group of your friends, provided any traffic goes to the place.
Yeah. So what this would do, Mel, is if dude uses that focus, I would certainly allow this to be a preemptive aid on Nemo's part.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Yeah, for any kind of check, or if it ends up being Nemo, then I would certainly allow him to make a check of his own at a higher difficulty because it is co-opting the benefits of a focus.
Right.
Yeah, I would argue though, since mine doesn't really it doesn't say anything about it being discreet and doesn't have any built-in checks for something like that, that if Nemo wants to help keep us off the radar, he could certainly...
That's actually the role that I would apply is, okay, Matt, you can do this, your focus says so. I can, of course, assert a role if I wanted to, but instead of just asserting a role on what the focus says, I'll assert a role on the sneaky component of it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Nemo could already have an aid check successfully completed for that. Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Being that this is a little bit more of a complex kind of people watching situation, I am going to call for a check from Nemo for it.
Yeah, I imagined as much. Basically the same thing he did on SOS, just with a different focus in mind.
Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and get a Wiz Notice or Wiz Connect.
Shit, that one is totally the same, and is either Wiz or and Hyper-Acuity works for either, and but Connect is +0. I'll go with Connect.
Okay. Can't he also use his
Social Chameleon?
Social Chameleon, yes.
Nope, that's only Talk, Lead, or Sneak.
No Connect?
Nope.
Huh.
Talk, lead, or sneak. You're the one who wrote it, not me.
Well, that's odd. Why did the author do that?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was Wiz.
Yes.
Well, I can reroll that one.
Okay. Yeah, it's still better.
Yeah, no, it's the same.
Oh,
It's an
that's
8
true.
that
It
turns
still
in-
comes
It's an 8
into
that
an 8.
turns into an 8.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Connect was excluded for balance reasons. S- Author of these stupid house rules is really concerned about balance for some reason.
Seems crazy to me.
Possibly also to avoid overlapping with hyperacuity, since hyperacuity is notice and connect, and
Yeah.
being totally to sneak.
Also, it does make sense in the grander scheme because Connect is more abstract as far as
Mhm.
the people thing.
Yeah,
So this works, however.
yeah, I'd agree that both talk and lead make more sense, and well, we already talked about sneak.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Nemo is quite busy with trying to follow unspoken cues
Yes.
in a mysterious goose chase that is going to take him around the whole city.
Yes, that is exactly his goal.
Okay.
So he can at some point steer Dude in the right direction for when they need to get to Alderaan without Imperial entanglements.
We have yet to pick up a large, very furry shipmate.
Well, technically that would be
Does your GM
no.
count? I am large and furry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wouldn't that in this situation wouldn't that be Hugo? If Cap is Han?
I think he enunciates a little bit better than Chewbacca.
Well, no, I think we need for big and imposing. What's her name?
Eileen.
Eileen. She's just not hairy. She's a shaved Wookiee. I'm sure there's blonde Wookiees.
Yeah, I think we saw some in the Christmas special.
Yes, we did.
His wife is more chestnut, but his father's gray. Does that count?
All right, let's save this for later. This is going a little bit too deep.
His father itchy.
Itchy, yes, itchy.
All right.
The one who watches VR porn.
Well, everybody is busy. So, night comes around. Dude's the first one finished with his project. And he can go see Colleen. Is Colleen just in her dorm?
Yes.
Okay.
She's stepping away furiously.
Alright.
See, now Dude's going to be interrupting her.
The entire time that she's been tapping away, one of the girls has been talking. And fortunately for Colleen, or maybe not, depending on how she interacts, when one of the other girls comes back, the talker shifts her conversation to that girl. And yes, that means that when it was just the talker and Colleen in the room, she was just talking at Colleen.
That's fine.
At.
Nice to have
There you
people
go.
No, with. It's nice to have people your own age around.
Was Colleen doing the classic? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
No, I mean, it depends. I mean, what was she talking about? She would have paid modicum of attention there.
She runs the gamut. Where's a random conversation table for me? Because I would need a random conversation table.
I mean, is she at any point bitching about her family and what her parents made her do?
Not bitching, no. She talks about farming and some of her experiences growing up on a farm. She talks about mechanical things and some problems that she's having. But
Well, in that case, can Colleen be helpful to that? And she does no shit about farming.
Colleen probably could be helpful to the mechanical inquiries, or not inquiries, but the mechanical chatter.
She would try to be.
Okay, so Colleen distracts herself from her project to talk to this girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fellow human being. So yeah,
Well,
she would actually try to help her with that problem.
Okay. That focusing attention gets the chattering to slow, although she still has random asides and tangents that she starts traveling down even while working on something. It's basically this entire gaming group distilled into one 14-year-old girl.
That's a terrifying image.
Not visually, just on rambling tangents. How the hell did we get on comic books? Don't ask. But she's smart enough to follow what Colleen's helping, or how Colleen's helping her, but not to fully grasp it just on explanation. She's gonna have to do it a few times, as long as Colleen is keeping things simpler.
Well, she would actually try to make it as understandable as possible.
Okay.
If someone tells her, teach someone something that's different from show us what you can do.
Instructions unclear, turned school into giant transformer. Are you not impressed?
So, Metroplex Jr.?
I don't get the reference, sorry.
Yeah.
It's a transformer who turns into a city.
Ah.
I think it's well, is it? Is it a city that turns into
Tangent.
a transformer? Come on.
Come on, 14-year-old girls.
You really want this entire planet to turn into a transformer?
She follows along with Colleen's instruction, and she's still going to have to get through it a few times and take some time to figure it out. But as she's trying to follow those instructions, she starts randomly talking about comics. Why not? And telling Colleen about this one issue that she saw on the well, didn't see it on a holo vid, but holo display. Comics in these days actually have moving pictures, which is kind of ironic. They're electronic books with animated GIFs for pictures.
I mean, if you look at it, some of the Marvel stuff has been animated in a very specific way that
Yes,
makes
very
this comic
very
look
badly.
bad. I actually like the style.
They also did a
Tangent.
They also did one with Watchmen, which was also really badly done.
And she gets it, and she's excited, and she hugs Colleen.
Yeah, so right back. Just for the future benevolent purposes, what's the name of the girl?
her name is Trisha. And for also future purposes, the other two girls are named Valentina and Ioana. Or actually, how do you pronounce this? I know Matt and Mel should know. Typing it in. How is that pronounced? That is an I at the front, not a J or an L.
What, in Danish?
No, in English.
Well, I'm not sure you would ever get that name in English.
Yeah,
I've
clearly,
seen it.
clearly not an English name.
Well, I've seen it in English-speaking locations.
Right, but I don't think it.
Welsh.
That's not
Which
the list that I
isn't
pulled it
English.
from. Okay, it's pronounced Ioana.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems about. Yeah, Greek.
Nice, I found it here. Yes, Greek.
Ioana.
Ioana, okay.
If you want to go Greek, then it should be pronounced Joanna.
I
Yeah.
thought it might go that
It's basically
far.
Johanna.
Yeah,
it is a variation of Johanna. Yeah,
I thought it might go there with Greek pronunciation. Okay, Joanna.
Johanna.
No H in this
Joanna.
one. So Valentina,
Joanna.
Trisha, and Joanna.
Yep.
And what's her age?
You want to stress
Trisha is 14.
For Greek, you stress the second syllable. You generally stress the second syllable of the name.
Okay. So Valentina would be Valentina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in Greek maybe.
In Greek, yes. In most other languages, it wouldn't be.
Well, at some point, I'm assuming this is it's a common dormitory, right? There's a handful of beds and whatnot for Colleen.
It's a fourplex, basically.
Right. Dude would stop just outside and knock on the door if it's closed, or knock on the area around the door if it's not.
It is closed.
There's a knock on the door. And dude just waits for somebody to answer.
Unless Colleen is fast about it, she doesn't really need to do anything. Trisha has been, at this point, she's been working her way through a second unguided review of what Colleen taught her, and she drops it and runs to the door. She swings it open and looks up at dude.
So dude expecting one teenage girl is greeted by a different teenage girl.
Oh, hi.
Hey, kid.
Who are you? I think I've seen you here. Weren't you downstairs? Yeah, you were
Yeah.
helping John.
Yeah, I
think that
help a
was
lot
his
of
name.
people out.
Maybe it wasn't John.
Might not have been. Hey, kiddo. And he calls into Colleen.
She looks where his gaze is aiming. Oh, she's busy.
Yeah, she usually is.
Oh, you know her?
Hi, Uncle Father.
Your name is Father? That's funny.
Yeah,
It's not
she's a
his
laugh riot.
name. He just wants to be known as my uncle. It's difficult.
Oh,
Families.
I don't see the resemblance. You don't look alike.
Yeah, it's because there ain't one.
Your nose is kind of bigger.
Yeah, well, there's a lot about me that's a lot bigger.
Ew.
In any case,
she goes back
that
and sits down
wasn't
at her
an
project.
intentional joke. That was more of a he was distracted.
Well, it got her out of his face.
Here comes the FBI watch list.
So how red-faced is dude now?
He's not even paying attention. He's fine with her going away. Looking over at Colleen. You still need my help, kid?
Yeah.
All right.
Just turns to Trisha. I'll be back later.
Okay. And she starts talking to... I'm not going to pronounce it, Valentina. I'm not sure on that pronunciation.
Well, it depends on how Greek you want to go.
It's
And it's
Frodrick.
not Valentina either.
Well,
If it's Frankenstein, it must be
been a
Frodrick.
very long time since I've actually known pronunciation markup, and the one pronunciation guide I found marked it as Russian pronunciation, which makes sense. But it's
Valentina.
yeah. So we're just gonna go with that. So yeah, Trisha starts chattering at Valentina, who rolls her eyes.
See, the problem with
It's also entirely possible that it's not the modern Greek pronunciation anymore. I only know the ancient Greek pronunciation,
Ah, okay.
and
which
there's
is
always
to always stress the second syllable of names.
If you want to make a bad joke, they can't afford a new one.
You were saying, Matt?
well, you know, the problem with having a name that is in any way not standard pronunciation for wherever you happen to be is that might be what you want your name to be pronounced as. It's not necessarily what your name is going to be pronounced as.
Hey, people have shoot airlines for that.
I mean, no one ever, no American ever pronounces my name correctly. So.
Mm-hmm.
Dude and Colleen. He takes Colleen aside.
Yep, we'll do it. Dude starts. We just walk down the hallway. Well, oh, by the way, here, and dude hands Colleen an ident chip and accompanying little bits with it, just in case. And she now has another set of identification for various purposes that identifies her as as Aubrey Plaza.
Alright. Just as a side, one of the things that dude needed to do in his creation of a new ident is to check and make sure that the name combination wasn't already in use.
Okay.
And he's able to do that.
Makes sense. Isn't that is that Norway that has the name database, and you can't name your kid something that isn't, an accepted name?
I don't know.
Denmark.
Most places in Europe have that.
Yeah.
Yep. You can apply. You can, if you want to name a child something that isn't specifically on the approved list, you have to apply for permission
Yeah.
to pick a name that isn't on the list.
Yep.
Game.
Same in Germany.
Eh. You're the one that brought up the name thing.
No, I'm not. I brought up the in-game name thing
Mm-hmm.
as a part of the game. You brought up the outside name thing.
Yeah. So yeah, he hands it to her,
Brother.
says, just in
He
case.
didn't call her FCD.
So far, what they've been keeping me tracked as is staying under the radar, but we might need to get you out of somewhere, so should be handy to have. Hopefully we won't need to use it. Only took a couple hours.
Well, since you're obviously good at forging things, we need to come up with a plan. I have 11 million in a trust fund.
Mm-hmm.
There's only two ways currently of getting to it. Either if it's for a school, but now this place does not qualify,
Mm-hmm.
or I can get a percentage of it if miraculously I turn 18.
How old does what they got you on record as being?
What was the exact age, Mike?
17. Let me pull up that reference, however. Give you your exact birth date. Birth date is May 25th, 3234.
What was the year again? Sorry.
It's okay, I'm looking it up too. Cause
So I have to switch between windows in order to write, so I'm not that fast.
That's fine. The current date is February 16th, 3251.
No, I meant the birth date.
Oh, 5/25/34. And how does my date keep going? My game date keeps going back to 3250 when it should be 51. I wonder how many times that has been posted on the recap.
We're bouncing back and forth. We're
Yes.
actually also alternating between playing flashbacks and the actual events.
That would make a really odd sequence of events.
Yes, it would.
We're being chased a year ago? Okay.
Alright, that makes her how old?
She will be 18 on May 25th of this year. In 3 months. 3.5 months.
Mm-hmm. All right, and considering that the system they're using to verify that you even should be having access to this is the system that's telling them you ain't 18, that's going to be a little hard to get past.
Well, unless we get access to it. But that's why I need a plan. And even then, we would only get 50% of it.
That's still 50% of 11 million.
Yes, but if we figure out a way to maybe spoof something with an awesome school, that's very, very, very expensive.
Yeah, we'll kind of have to be. Have you looked up the records to see if there are any schools that even reasonably cost that amount of money, just so it doesn't seem like some school popped up out of nowhere that charges 15 times what any other school or educational system would ever charge?
I have a list.
So you have a
She would
list.
just copy him the list.
Mm-hmm. And so these schools have a standard entry tuition of $11 million, or whatever
No, but
it
those
is.
are approved schools. I figured you could go, so kind of
Right.
see which one might work.
Were you able to get what they got for entry tuition and whatnot on this list, or is this just a list of schools?
That's just the list of approved schools they gave me, because you can't just make schools up, as it turns out. You have
Imagine
to be
that.
sophisticated about it. Otherwise, this school would already be sending an invoice of 11 million.
Yeah, I got to imagine.
But yes, it was that take half of what's there. But even if that doesn't work, we need the money for the damn equipment.
All right. Bigger question. What do we need the equipment for?
To crack some very important files that are on the ship.
Is this the only planet ever you're going to be able to get this stuff?
Seeing how those are marked as personal files for all of us, I would say so, given the problems we're in.
I'm just saying, kid, we're already trying our best to fly under the radar. If we keep trying stuff on this planet when we ain't got the backup we need to get off, we could run into some major problems.
We can get off this damn planet any time we damn well please.
I know that.
But we need the equipment. It's the only planet that reasonably has it. And we can't rely on the mandate not chasing us for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
That
I
stuff
know.
is rare.
Speaking of which, you'd be happy to know that the Derringer has ratcheted down. So it seems like we're at least a level down on the alert radar. I'll tell you this, kid. I'll help you do the prep work. But my preference is to wait on anything major until we're sure that Cap's coming back. And soon. Because while I know I can get us off the planet, we can't guarantee that we're going to be able to leave word in any way, shape, or form for Cap to know where the hell we went.
Well,
And
that's
I'd rather
easy.
not get separated from the rest of the crew.
Keeping a message is the easiest thing in the world.
Well, you're the programmer. I just build the shit.
That's just common sense. You leave a message for a ship that matches certain specifications. Doesn't need to know the name. There are courier companies.
Yeah. And there's...
If I'd known where she went, I would have sent her a message already.
Yeah. And that's not to say that we can't guarantee that she might not even be able to make it back to this planet, and we might need to make our way to her in some way, and she might need to send word to us. So if we move, then that becomes real problematic.
Which is why at that point I'd rather have the equipment.
To decrypt the data that's on a ship we ain't got access to?
It does other things as well.
I know. I'm just saying.
But
It becomes a lot less useful if we ain't got the Raza.
Nah, actually I could rig something pretty spectacular with it and make us money, but it has a very specific purpose of making sure that the shit that keeps happening to us doesn't happen to us anymore.
I know, kid. I know you're working on what you think is important. You just gotta understand. There need to be limits on how much shenanigans we pull on this planet before things get really hairy.
That's fine, but also it's kind of my money. Or other me's money, in which case I'm definitely entitled to
I
it.
was gonna
Sport.
say, you can't guarantee that it's your money. You just belongs to who you're supposed to be. And if we really want to get all that technical about it, technically that money's for you to get an education.
Getting plenty of education, as you might not have noticed.
Kid, I've been responsible for some of that education, so don't give me that.
Also, the next time you send me somewhere, tell me what the hell I'm supposed to do.
You're still salty about the fire planet.
No? I'm pissed about this planet.
We didn't send you anywhere on this planet.
You took me here, then you left me with those people. You didn't tell me a single thing about what this thing is except their projects and things. Granted, they didn't tell me either. And that's certainly why I'm in classes.
Yeah, that.
So something like I'm taking to this place, you're supposed to teach things to people, would have been nice.
Would that have stopped you from pulling out a fully armed drone in the middle of a room of people?
Yeah? Because I was under the impression I was going to be put on projects and they wanted to know what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is an assessment to see how well you teach. Two different things.
And what I can do is kill you all with my armed drone.
Well, that's on them for not explaining to you. I figured they would when they took you aside to run an assessment on you. That's what they.
Yeah, you didn't say anything either.
I told you what this place did.
This was about what I'm supposed to do at that place.
Well, when I brought you here initially, I didn't think we were going to do anything. This is basically just a place to hide out. But honestly, kid, I feel like you've gotten the better of the situation.
Oh?
Might be good for you. Nothing else that's keeping you out of trouble. To a certain extent. Well, why don't you head on back to your friends and your... you probably... What is it? Pretty late. You probably don't have any more classes today, do you?
Does she? Mike?
No evening classes?
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, well... Send me all the information you think is going to be necessary to start putting something together. And, I'll consult with Nemo, see if we can come up with something. And I'll let you know. You head on back to your friends there. It's good to put you in with somebody your own age.
If you can keep the information you give to him to a minimum. Since you can't trust him at all.
There's a...
It's not because of who he is,
I know, kid.
but he
It's-
already got triggered once. Unless I
Yeah.
know what's in there,
So,
that can happen anytime, anywhere, to any of us.
well, yeah, that's the problem. I'm going to keep it in my head that it's not that you can't trust him. So we can't
Well, you
necessarily
can't trust him, he can't help it.
Well, exactly.
Let's amend it to that. That doesn't change the fact you're standing next to a time bomb that can murder you at any point.
Well, you ain't that bad, kid.
Sure. Once again, because he can't help it. Someone built something into it,
Mm-hmm.
and unless we know what it is and what it does to him, you can't assume any of that.
Yeah, I've been kind of running on that assumption with all of us, kid. Considering that we don't know what's going on in our own brains most of the time, can't guarantee that any of us don't have something psychologically built in the same way that he's got something mechanically built. I mean, shit. Clark.
Turned out to be a policeman. It wasn't that suddenly a switch got flicked in his brain and he did that. He discovered that and then actually warned us. There's a difference between free will and a machine being forced to do what it does because it's inbuilt.
I get you. I'd still like to get his advice on some of what's going on. I will keep it limited.
Because I'd rather not have more messages about me being sent to who knows where.
Well, if nothing else, it lets us know that there's something important going on with at least you. And you're not just some random kid.
Don't think a random kid has 11 million in a trust fund?
Yeah. Some random kid also doesn't know what you know about programming.
That's because random kids underplay themselves. There's a lack of ambition in today's youth.
Yeah, well, who knows? Alright. Well, I'll take a look at what you've given me. And I'll see what we can come up with. But we ain't pulling the trigger on this until we're sure.
That's fine. As I said, if you come up with an alternative way of making a lot of money real quick,
Mm-hmm.
I'm game.
Trying to remember, how much was the cost of the thing that she has on hold?
$275.
Okay.
And if necessary, if you have an idea, I have like 60,000 credits to play around with.
I'll think on that. You go on back. I'll let you know what I can come up with.
Sure, Dad.
Stop
Oh,
calling
Uncle.
me that.
Sorry,
Uh-huh.
Uncle.
You realize that everybody else thinks that you are just being weird.
I am?
Well, yeah, that's true. Alright, stay out of trouble, kid. Stay
That's
safe.
what you get for giving me stripper names.
Hey, these are perfectly good names I'm pulling out of a database. They just ain't in use right now.
I wonder why.
Well, then you got a really good story you can tell about how your parents were really weird and stupid when they gave you this name.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. Stay out of trouble, kid. Try and make some friends.
And try to not gross out any more of the girls?
I make no promises. And dude heads back to his area.
Yep. Connie would go back to her room, basically. Continue what she's doing with her. What did I miss?
Goes back to her room to what?
She goes back to her room if the other girls are still there.
Hmm.
She'd basically just flop down on her bed, continue her programming, and then just goes, what did I miss?
Ah.
That's the polite thing. Yeah, sure. For working. Unless they come up with something interesting to talk about, then she would once again pay attention.
No, the third girl has come in by this time.
How's the... That reminds me, important thing. How's the food situation at the school?
You get food?
Yes, at intervals, can you buy stuff? Is there cafeteria? Do you just get bread and water twice a day? Once a day?
Get a
Is
bowl
there
of
cake?
gruel. You get a bowl of gruel once a day, and I'll kick you out if you ask for more.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because when
Yeah,
I was in school, basically we had meals.
Basic, not flavorless. It's not trying to be flavorless, but it is very cheap food is provided. There's a cafeteria, but it only produces basically like a school lunch cafeteria. It has the food it has on that particular meal.
Right. Does this planet have food delivery?
Oh yes. And remember,
aside
from Colleen being told that she has to attend these classes to stay here, nobody is forced to stay here. This is a hostel. Everybody can come and go as they wish.
But yeah, she doesn't want to go places, but yeah, she would order a round of cake for everybody.
Okay. Not normal food as well.
Let's start with cake and see where the night takes us.
Alright.
Let them eat cake.
One of the girls turns her nose up at it, says it would be unbefitting for one of her intended station.
So you're saying that the cake that was good enough for Zoe LaRue is not good enough for you?
She does not seem impressed by the name Zoe LaRue. That spoiled brat. She couldn't. She insults her in some robotics way. Couldn't make the tail of a dog wag. Which is...
she's better these days.
So the news says. And Trisha starts kind of almost mechanically, as she's counting out on her fingers, reciting a bunch of article headlines that have been deleted. It's kind of a search history for Zoe LaRue.
Well, she's gotten better than that. I mean, repentance and all. So sometimes giving the benefit of the doubt to someone else would be nice.
Yeah.
Also, what do people at your station eat for comfort food?
Well, I don't need to be comforted. I just need to be fed. And this slop they're serving in the cafeteria. Even a robot wouldn't eat it.
You might be surprised.
No, he wouldn't. Because it would be an awful mess.
She says something about I would wish that Trisha's family would. Oh, she's not one of them anymore, and this starts a fight. Trisha's yelling at Joanna. Valentina just lays back in her bed.
Can Colleen mediate?
She can try.
She would try.
All right.
Would that be talk or leadership?
I don't know. How does Colleen want to try and mediate this?
Well, probably after considering the first option, hacking all their accounts and basically distributing their private information among each other as mutual assured destruction, she probably reconsiders that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, she would make it. Honestly, if you're fine with it, she would do lead. She would try to emulate the captain to sort shit out.
Okay, all right. Oh, Captain's getting a lot of screen time off screen.
Same technique Nemo's using then.
Well, here's the thing: she doesn't have too many examples to choose from, and she usually is fine with the captain, except the recent development. But that's a separate issue. So,
Okay, yeah.
But yes, she would do it that way.
Go ahead and roll. It is still charisma.
That's fine. What's the worst that could happen? That's how the world was started. She's gonna use her expert on that. Might not get super better, but
Okay. It hadn't even come across yet. I see it now. Go ahead and try and read
well,
it.
I figured in the headache factor since that's still in there, correct? Otherwise, it's an 8.
Yeah, because it hasn't been a week yet. Or it hasn't been 2 weeks yet.
She just can't let it rest.
Yeah, thank you for remembering that, Nick. You gain an XP.
Woohoo!
Are you going to re-roll that?
Yeah, give me a second. Different windows and stuff.
Okay. There's...
Ouch.
Oof. There's...
I guess.
Your family gave you up because you weren't smart enough to stay in school, and Trisha returns back. Well, you're just trying to make robots look pretty. They ain't actually doing anything. And Colleen tries to get in the middle of this.
Yep.
She succeeds in unifying them against a common foe.
With a kind of
herself.
Forceful captain affectation. Is that the role that she's going for? The look from the captain?
Well, look and the voice of authority.
Okay.
I can already tell the look absolutely fails.
the look does fail, but there's enough authority in the voice that the girls do at least stop bickering at each other. Joanna is looking kind of set back that she's being cowed down, but also very indignant at having the upper hand. And Trisha has tears like pooled at her eyes. Is Colleen acting on the moment of silence?
Yes. I mean, partially probably was thinking on her street cred of being the girl that had a machine gun in school.
Okay.
That probably went into the cap performance of kind of the authority figure. As in, enough of this nonsense. But yes, her idea is she wants things to be harmonious and kind of, hey, we might have differences, but we're all here. So obviously at some point we all must have fucked up. Well, not fuck up, but here we are. Here to work. Let's figure something out.
No, this is for girls their age. It's if they're not in a proper school, then this is kind of a last ditch effort. There are no secondary schools on La Miera, and I decided that secondary school means if it's a school that you can attend if you don't make it through the basic education school. So if you fail or drop out or get moved to a different planet, you can typically pick up a secondary school, unless the planet has none, and La Miera has none.
Well, in that case, yeah, we all fucked up to get here, and we can either make this living hell for everybody, or we can work together, because if we fuck up more, there's nowhere else to go for you. So yeah, let's embrace our differences and get along. We're all here now. So let's have cake, goddammit.
Joanna rolls her eyes and goes over to her bed and starts fiddling about on her data pad. The room is silent.
Well, Colleen would eat her cake and then go back to her work.
No, the cake hasn't actually been delivered yet.
Damn it! How long does it take in this place?
Longer
for the damn driver.
Longer than 2 minutes.
Where's my goddamn cake?
By the time the
cake
does,
probably occurred to her.
By the time the cake does arrive, Trisha has just been kind of half-heartedly fucking around with some mechanical bits, not really trying to do anything, but she has been silent the whole time. And the cake gets there. She looks over. Valentina looks over. They will both partake in cake.
That works. Let there be cake.
Your connection to the server has been interrupted. Huh. Yeah, well.
By the cake?
And not just yours.
Yeah, by the cake.
That flashed on my screen too.
I didn't see anything.
That was a brief blip.
It was very brief, yeah.
I might have just missed it.
It might just be so used to your internet connection being crap that it just didn't notice.
Or that.
It's just firm. That message is just firmly pinned in his corner.
I actually wrote that on a piece of sticky tape and stuck it to my screen.
Is Colleen doing anything else for the evening?
No, she would actually keep working on this.
Okay. After a while, Trisha is talking again. Her and Valentina are trading stories. Nemo is still out and about.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Getting darker, although the planet doesn't ever actually fully darken. But that's also when a lot of those good potential contacts will be coming around.
Right.
So does he continue doing that?
Yes, he will continue working the streets.
Okay. God damn it, Mel.
You don't have to be a manhole.
Yes, that was
And
quite
now-
intentional.
And now I have to listen to Flight of the Conchords for the rest of the day.
Is Dude doing anything through the rest of the evening?
He's going to look at the information that Colleen has given him. He's going to pull up whatever he can find that's easily accessible on the schools that she has given him as part of the list. He is going to check that first question he had, which is how completely out of the ordinary would $11 million be as tuition for any of these places, if it even is.
It is, by a huge amount.
It's kind of what I figured.
The schools, for an annual tuition, go up to like 20,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now there are additional costs on top of the annual tuition.
I'm sure. And I'd have to imagine that at least they'd allow you to prepay to, if you're going to do a 4-year thing, just pay for 4 years up front. Well, actually, they probably wouldn't, because tuitions change sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All
yeah,
right.
their cost puts them well above the ability of 99% of the population, depending on where you are, of most people. On this chart, a lot of money to a wealthy person is 25,000, and a wealthy person's maximum funds is 100,000. So we're talking not quite Bill Gates or any of them status, but a doctor and lawyer couple would be paying a fairly decent portion of their income to put somebody into one of these schools at 20,000.
All right.
Yeah, an affluent person's maximum funds is 5,000.
I'm back.
All right. Well, that establishes that, at least to his satisfaction. Oh man. Of course, one problem is that now that she has expressed an interest, at the very least, in this particular fund, then it is somebody now remembers that it exists. If we were going to try to embezzle it out of the bank in some way, it would have been better if it had just been one of those, hey, remember that trust fund that somebody set up like 17 years ago? So that only the computers remembered and no actual person was even ever thinking of it. But now that somebody has checked on it, if like in a week from now somebody goes, I wonder if that girl managed to get her education fund going, and checks, where did the money go?
It went into a get educated quick scheme.
Yes, unfortunately, we cannot reenact the plot of Accepted. As
Familiar with that. Not familiar with that one.
That was Justin
Game.
Long. Yeah, I know. Yeah, dude's just kind of look at things, but he's waiting for Nemo to come back before he expresses any ideas, because he hasn't got any.
Okay. Well, it's getting late in the night. Nemo's not back yet, unless he wants to be.
Nope.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Nemo doesn't come back,
spend as much time as as he feels he needs.
Okay.
Yeah, and then dude just waits for it's night. Just gonna go back to sleep.
Okay. I'll say that Nemo can have attained a somewhat satisfactory kind of mental network mapping of useful contacts, locations, people who are more inclined towards a quick buck than all the various rules and regulations of Lamiera. By say
that would certainly be the goal.
2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah, he can certainly, of course, continue going if he wants to.
That seems to be a good result combined with, not wanting to draw undue attention to himself. Is that something I can roll as well to see if anyone has been noticing him snooping around?
Well, he can do a charisma sneak roll to see how inoffensive he's been.
Yep, I will absolutely do that. And use Social Chameleon for that.
Okay.
There it is.
Well, it's a good thing he's got good bonuses on that.
Yep.
Where does the extra +1 come from?
That's weird. The dice show the die on my screen show a 2 and a 4.
That is weird.
You know, fairness on my screen too.
Oh, weird. That
you see the 2 and the 4 too?
I see a 1 and a 3. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might be the connection blip. Why don't you two try Well, why don't one of you try reconnecting, and we'll
That is
see.
weird.
We'll see who has the correct rolls next time. Next time a roll is made. But anyways, yes. Nemo has a +2 modifier listed there. I know he's got a +1 for the charisma. What's the additional +1?
The +1 from charisma is because he is currently in his charisma mode.
Right.
For an additional +1, so that's +2 charisma.
Right, but the charisma is already added in as a +2.
Yeah, that's +2.
Mm-hmm.
So that's +2, and then +2 from using chameleon instead of his sneak skill.
Okay, right. That makes sense. Yeah, you have to use some kind of. Well, you could just roll the chameleon.
I could have just rolled chameleon. Yes,
Okay.
I realized I could have just rolled chameleon instead.
Yes, that would have removed my confusion because then you would only have added a +1 for using the +1 attribute.
Yes.
Okay. As long as the numbers all add up, I'm good with
they
that.
do. It's the +1 from charisma stat, +1 from charisma social mode, and +2 from the chameleon skill.
Okay.
Instead of +0 from sneak.
He doesn't seem to have drawn a whole lot of attention. He's moved around enough that the people that he's around don't see him a whole lot, and those that do, he's fairly inconspicuous.
Excellent.
So he has made himself inconspicuous in this endeavor.
Excellent. In case he will withdraw before that no longer applies.
Okay. And he returns home, or returns to the hostel about 3:30. And can probably easily get his 6 hours of charge time in. Or not charge time, but 6 hours of defrag, sleep.
Yep. And he will do that unless dude is up and around and waiting for him.
I believe dude is asleep.
Right. Then,
yeah, I was gonna say if it's past normal standard bedtime, dude was just like, I'll see him in the morning or whatever.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Okay. At some point in Colleen's room, Valentina trails off, and Trisha kind of keeps talking for a little while, but and she also trails off. Is Colleen sleeping at a normal time?
Yeah, but it's because of that headache. She can't keep her normal work hours.
Okay. We are +1 day. Morning arrives. The girls have got their own classes to attend. So does Colleen. And Dude and Nemo. You're back to a normal schedule, dude, although your body's still like,
Yeah, what have you done to me? Oh, jeez. Looks up. You know, man, you could probably technically, well, not technically, you're allowed to lie down if you want to. You don't really have to just stand there.
Would it make you would it make you more comfortable if I did?
Nah, man. I mean, it's a little weird first thing when you wake up seeing it, but I'm just thinking whether you'd be more comfortable. I mean, is that even a thing you think about?
It is not.
All right. Good to know.
The difference in where I suppose it would slightly reduce the tear in my lower extremities, but the difference is likely to be negligible. Negligible.
All right. Well, as long as I don't wake up and you're standing like right over my face, looking down at me, I'm okay.
I will. I will make a point of remembering to respect the boundaries of your personal space while you're asleep.
Right on. I mean, unless there's like a fire or something, you got to get me out of here. In that case, like all bets are off. All right. So the kid's got an angle on money. She's still trying to put together the funds for that hardware she wants.
I see. And so while we're lying low, we are perpetrating some sort of spectacular heist.
I pretty specifically told her we weren't, but I said I would do the planning for it. Ideally, I'd like this to be the we're getting off the planet with Cap in orbit. Let's go, 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 if it has to be something like that. Now, that's not to say that if we can't come up with some far more subtle and inconspicuous way of siphoning this fundage off, that it might not be worth it. But
I assume for the moment that we're entirely disregarding the moral issue of illegally apprehending this money.
Well, I think if you want to get into the technicality of it, it actually is her money.
Then why can't we claim it legally?
Well, we got the issue of it's in a trust fund that has specific requirements, neither of which she meets currently.
Which means that we would be legally appropriating them.
Well, I mean, if you want to get... I don't know that that's a moral quandary so much as a problem of poor timing. I mean, if we'd arrived, 3 months from now, we'd actually be kosher.
Presumably, the person or persons who set aside this money for the person that might or may not be clean did so with an intended purpose in mind. That purpose is not being met, hence appropriating that money for something other than that purpose would, and at least as I understand it, be considered immoral.
Maybe. I think I'd probably say unethical more than anything else. It certainly is against the intended purpose of the money, that's for damn sure.
I've found that using something in a way that's counterproductive to its to its original intent is often the easiest definition of immorality.
Could be. Was that going to be a major problem for you?
For me, no.
No.
It will merely factor into into my calculations as to how we conduct business.
Right on. Yeah. I don't know. There's certainly the one part of it is that she's entitled to at least 50% of it if she's 18, but she ain't 18.
Which she is not.
No. And the problem is that, as I see it, they're checking against the records of the person that she's supposed to be, so it's not like we can suddenly shift something in the system and go, oh, wow, your records are totally wrong. I am totally 18 right now. I think somebody might look sideways at that. The other part of it is that the money can be disbursed for educational remuneration. Which means it's supposed to pay for school. But that is in no way going to get anywhere near the full amount of money, even if we manage to pretend to be that school. Because I can't see anybody running a trust fund for education that just says, oh, sure, here's all the money. As opposed to wanting a bunch of paperwork for tuition schedules and a bunch of other crap.
It
Seems like
seems
this-
likely that receipts would be receipts would be needed. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I can forge some stuff, but I'm really more specialized into, well, identification and travel papers, seemingly. Feels more comfortable for that.
I could certainly impersonate a. I can certainly impersonate a tuition official of a expensive, expensive and elite university if necessary. But as you said yourself, that would not likely get us very far.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's just gonna keep bugging us about it. I think, well, if nothing else, I think one possibility to at least.
If the goal here is to secure funds for computer hardware, I have to say that at least from an initial consideration, it would seem a less less challenging solution to simply break into the facility and steal the required hardware. Considering that we've already put moral issues aside.
Yeah, that's certainly one way to do it. Although I don't know that I would want to, considering how specific that hardware was and how specific her request was, I got to imagine that she'd be first on the suspect list. Although I don't know that, I don't remember what name she gave to the guy for who she was when she wanted that thing.
We could easily cover up such. We could easily cover up such leads by killing the person she interacted with and demolishing the store.
All right, so you're not wrong, but I'd prefer to at least lay down a baseline ground rules. I'm okay with appropriating things generally, as long as I'm not hurting somebody that's too far down on the rung.
I believe I understand the problem. So, the phrase "putting moral issues aside" is not actually not actually a binary situation.
Yeah. We'll call it a spectrum. I'd prefer not to kill people unless they are either shooting at me or have proven that they need to be killed. I realize that doesn't give you a lot of really specific ground rules to work off. I will say a solid hard rule is generally he shot first. Tends to give you at least a little bit of the moral high ground.
Many sentients, if put in a situation where you are attempting to take what they consider their property, will respond with force, and in that case, shoot back.
Yeah, that's true. But not necessarily all of them. Some of them will certainly be pissed, but I don't know that everybody's going to degenerate into murdering frame of mind immediately.
True. I was more considering the situation that if we were attempting to steal someone else's property, they responded with violence. Would you then consider it unacceptably immoral to respond with deadly force?
Oh yeah, you're getting into it there, because technically they legitimately have a complaint. I'd say unprovoked violence is certainly acceptable to meet with at least commensurate violence. Like if somebody out of nowhere starts trying to kill you, then you can just kill them right on back. If they've got a good reason to be trying to kill you, I don't know. I'd leave it up to your own personal moral code as to whether you think it's all right for you to try killing them back, or whether you should take it as more of a, you know what? They got a point, and I'll just do what I can to avoid getting killed by them. If I'm breaking into a man's shop to steal something from him, and he gets the jump on me, starts trying to kill me, I'm going to try to avoid killing him, because you know what? He's right. I shouldn't be taking that shit. If I get jumped by a couple of dudes in an alley and they start trying to take my stuff, I don't feel so bad about trying to kill them.
Of course, the first of those situations could easily be avoided by us simply not engaging in such in such practices.
And once again, you make an excellent. I don't know that I was thinking theft. It's interesting that your brain went to larceny right off the bat. I was thinking.
What we're attempting is theft.
Well, I hadn't said what we were attempting at all. My thought might be if we can placate the kid a little bit by obtaining the funds that she's looking for to get her piece of hardware, we might be able to get her to calm down on the "I want my money that's in the bank" process, because that's really the main thing she's looking for that for. The rest of the money seems to be just icing on the "I get my thing" cake.
But would we not would we not come to such funds through theft?
Well, I don't know. That's kind of my thought. Is what do we do to I don't know, man. Is there a way we could possibly legally obtain that amount of fundage? I mean, what do we're short at least 200,000 credits, if nothing else.
We could attempt high stakes gambling.
Well, we've had a few poker nights on the ship, and I've been pretty bad at it.
And now my mind immediately jumped to the Star Trek Next Generation poker scenes.
Mm-hmm. I don't suppose. Well,
what skill would you actually use for that? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, no what would you roll to be to gamble?
Oh. Depends on how you're going about it. If you're just trying to count the cards, it has to the only the only real attribute for it among the six is intelligence. You're literally using your brain to figure out the odds and statistics of cards. And for the skill portion of it, let's just go with programming.
Now, I'd say talk charisma would be good if you're going to be mostly bluffing your way through it.
That might fall under perform.
Ooh, yeah.
Is there a perform skill?
There is perform.
Yeah,
there's
perform.
That's why. Remember, I made a bard, man.
Yeah.
So I got a +1 in that.
That's right. Yeah, but
so
that's
you can. I see from the statistics you posted, Mike. So you can actually work as an escort to put yourself through medical school.
Apparently, you can. You only have to do it for 100 days, so you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can do that on the side while you're actually still attending school, unlike most of those other
exactly
for so many days jobs.
Well, that is ideal for weekend work.
Yes, the assassination one would probably also be something you could easily do.
Oh yeah, spring break assassinate someone, Christmas break assassinate someone. There, you're good for all 4 years.
Spring breakers. There we go.
I like that movie.
But working as a artist, programmer, technician, or doctor or lawyer, those are taking up your full day. You know what? The question about how would you do poker has come up in the Stars Without Number Discord, and there was no real good answer given this existing system. Because yes, talk is good for bluffing, but that's that's not the entirety of the game. Counting cards is good for knowing, the statistics, but that's not the entirety of the game. Basically, it came down to somebody just saying, "Make it a luck check." Just roll something. And the other line of thought was, "Don't do it."
Don't try to run the game. Don't try to run poker mechanically in the game.
Right. Just let it be.
That would be a horrible idea. Yes, I agree.
Just let it be a narrative thing. If Nemo and Dude decide that they want to try and set up a gambling scam, then there certainly would be checks involved, but those checks would not in any way involve the actual playing of the game. It would be for all the setup and getting everything correct.
Exactly. It would be the plot of Ocean's 11.
And not the game within it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't have an answer to your question.
Right. Obviously, the idea of trying to
Don't play
approximate the
poker,
game.
play blackjack.
Yeah. Dude runs a quick little check. Does this planet or do any of these cities have a lottery?
No. Lamiera does not need a lottery. It doesn't need the additional tax income.
Well.
Lamiera is a very rich city by its own right, without any kind of seedy or questionable means. It has the backing of the Exchange of Light, and it's a major trade hub. So it does very, very well with, and especially for its citizens, without going into lottery scams and.
So it doesn't need a stupidity tax, or at least
it
not
doesn't
that
need the
particular.
stupidity tax. It doesn't need the stock market.
Well, we've got two relatively, competent characters. We've got enough to run most of the major social engineering grifts.
Yes, you do.
We can do the American Gods one with the ATM.
I was going to say, I just finished doing the audiobook of American Gods recently, so there's a bunch of those that are still floating around in my head. The violin one's really good, but I don't know that we've got anything relevant for it.
While you guys are discussing, please stay on topic. And this tangent is on topic. I'm going to use the restroom.
The violin one is brilliant. Yes.
But yeah, that's part of the problem is the numbers we're talking about. Because if $20,000 is still a lot for somebody who's rich, or 20,000 credits, we'd have to grift a solid amount of people to get up to the 200,000.
All right, it was 200 we needed, and we have how much?
We figured it was somewhere in the vicinity of 50 to 70.
Right.
As that's as much cap left us.
Yep. So we need to more than double the.
Yeah.
Well, Colleen just told Dude she has 60,000.
Yeah, that still doesn't put us in range. There's nothing. Of course, the funny thing is that depending on how long it takes Cap and Hugo to circle back around, you never know. We might actually just run out the 3 months, and she can at least get the 50%.
Also, Cap left you 40,000, if I recall.
Okay. Yeah, seems solid.
That actually is because we calculated out 3 months of that rent would be 36,000, and additional 4,000 for costs is more than sufficient.
Do they have like horse races or anything like that? High stakes racing that you could bet on?
There may be in the wild markets.
Um,
I suppose I could spend the day trying to. I spent yesterday looking up potential contacts that could be useful for if we needed to get off planet in a hurry without official entanglements, and I believe I have some information that you would find usable for that you would find very useful for that. I could try the same today, looking up contacts or insights into any kind of racing-based gambling that might take place. See if I can find out who is controlling and fixing said races and get us in on the correct side of the action.
hmm.
There is no guarantee, of course, that such a thing would be possible or put us in the right, put us within reach of the intended goal, or for that matter, if any leads that I would be able to secure would be accurate, and we might just lose and we might just lose the money instead, of course.
Yeah. While they've been talking about it, dude has a thought. Remembers that the way they'd been. He shoots a note to Colleen. Didn't you just make a really rich friend?
Alternate. I do have an alternate idea. Remind me, Mike. Nemo didn't interact with the computer salesman, right? That was only Colleen.
Colleen and Dude.
Yeah.
And Dude, yes, but Nemo didn't.
Correct.
The person that you intended to buy the computer hardware from has not interacted with me and has no. Which means that if you were to create a suitably impressive counterfeit ID for myself, representing someone who would certainly have the means necessary to purchase such equipment, then it is possible that I would be able to persuade him to sell that equipment to me deliver it on promise of payment, and then we will simply default on that payment and hopefully leave the world very soon afterwards.
Well, yeah, that ain't that would have to be. We'd have to set up a plan like that. Pretty much right on the line of knowing Cap's here.
It would help, but it wouldn't be necessary as long as the equipment isn't so bulky as that we couldn't move it, transport it, and hide it ourselves.
Yeah. It was in another city, wasn't it?
It is. It's in House LaRue.
It is. Yeah. So we would need to transport it from LaRue to here or somewhere else, and that you'd need to create a counterfeit ID that would hold up to intense scrutiny and establish me as a person of substantial funds who would easily be able to afford such a purchase and wouldn't be one you'd suspect of defaulting on his bills.
Alright. Well, certainly one way to do it. I will say, moral compunctions aside, I'd like to keep that off to the side. I feel kind of bad for the guy. I mean, he is legitimately providing this thing, and he's, as far as I know, done nothing to deserve getting completely and utterly ripped off. So I'd like to at least try to legitimately acquire this thing, just because,
So stealing the property of this vendor is more morally offensive than misappropriating the money that a wealthy donor decided should go to Ultra Mercur's higher education.
Well, yeah. Again, it's as you say, it's a matter of degrees. The money is supposed to go to Audrey McCure anyway. Its intended purpose might be a little differently, but at least it's still getting to its intended recipient.
Suppose Colleen turns out to not actually be Ultra Mercure. Suppose an actual Ultra Mercure then later shows up desiring education and finds her college fund has been robbed by us.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to know for certain.
Would that make it more or less morally reprehensible than stealing the computer hardware from the vendor?
I like to think you can only base your morals on what you know, not on what you might not be aware of. Because that's the only thing you can do is you can make decisions based on the information you got at the time. Because I mean, shit, that's how we're running our whole operation here.
So ignorance is a defense in such a case.
Considering I don't even know whether or not what the systems have as my name is actually my name, and whether or not I'm even really the person that I think I am. Yeah, I mean, I got to run with. I mean, to be honest here, I'm just trying to avoid any of the big existential questions because I ain't got any answers, man.
Of course, the only thing we know for certain in this case is that this money is intended to go for Ultra Mercure's higher education, and we are attempting to illegally gain access to that money and use it for something that is not Ultra Mercure's higher education.
Yeah. At least with the money, the person that gave up the money obviously had no intention of ever getting the money back. And if the money never makes it to the person that it's supposed to go to, then it sits there and is useless. So the money coming out and potentially maybe helping the person that's probably supposed to be getting it, maybe not in the same way it was intended, is at least still following along the basic. It's not on the same road that the money was supposed to be going on, but it's like a side street. It's following the same general direction. It's just getting there in a different way. Stealing this hardware from this guy who's done us no particular wrong and has certainly done his best to obtain a fairly sophisticated piece of machinery that is probably pretty difficult to deal with. I mean, robbing him's kind of like, well, just kind of like punching somebody on the street that ain't done you no wrong.
Presumably, he'll have insurance that will cover his loss, provided he can prove he's been a victim of a criminal act.
Yeah, as long as he didn't have to commit any crimes to get that thing for us. Or for Colleen, at least. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% opposed to the idea of ripping the guy off if we have to. I'd like that to be at least a little lower on the scale of possibilities.
Then I believe we're moving back to attempted high stakes gambling as our best and fastest option.
Yeah, well, there ain't a lot of high-paying jobs just kind of laying around on the ground. Did dude get a response to the message he
40.
sent to Colleen about her rich friend?
That's 45.
No, not at this point.
We, if according to Mike's plan, there we could assassinate 3 significant or well-guarded targets.
Yeah, I saw that.
You would only need you would need 3.5 actually.
Yes, 3.5.
Actually, we can take out the 4th and the 5th and then use the money from that to pay for the major crimes forgiveness.
Well, but that's not 200,000. That's only 20,000. Or did you mean that to be 200,000?
No, it's 20. It's 20 for one.
Yeah.
And one assassination is 2 years, so one assassination is 40,000.
Well, it's actually 50,000.
Oh, okay.
Better. But true, as Nick pointed out, in fact we could commit a major assassination and spend 5% of our take on buying a pardon, and keep the remaining 95%. This seems like a win-win situation.
The bribery plan only works if you're apprehended by a bribable cop.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Zoe, do you have a hit list?
So this isn't Skyrim where every cop is bribable?
I don't remember it being everyone in bribable in Skyrim either. There were some that I tried to bribe and they're just like, nope, you're going to jail.
Anyone who arrests you, you'll always give them the option of paying instead of going to jail.
Oh, huh. Well,
Yeah,
isn't that basically just paying the fine though, not actually bribing them?
Well, yes, that's the legal system being. That's the legal system apparently having a fine for everything in lieu of jail, regardless of what you did.
Yeah,
you killed someone, pay a fine.
That's a fine or jail time, with a fine being way more expensive than most people could afford.
Yeah,
you're just not most people. Yeah,
it does create a legal system where the rich people can just fucking murder people when they want to.
That's funny. I made a planet like that too.
Wait, so we can go to that planet and hunt the most dangerous game?
Excuse me, I would like to hunt you. How much?
It's actually when you kill someone without deliberate intent. Deliberate intent is way more expensive, but you can still buy it off too. You basically pay what their current and projected future worth is.
Nice.
So poor old people.
Yeah, kill poor old people, and it's pennies.
Should be your target.
But yeah, you kill a rising, up-and-coming pop star, and holy shit, you're in trouble.
Or alternately, kill someone who is crippled and or deathly ill, and you should actually receive money for doing so.
Doesn't quite work like that.
Kill a teenager. At that point, they're just a big cost on the budget.
Nope.
No,
below a certain age, below a certain age, their potential is unknown, so it is a vastly worse crime.
Pay for an IQ test first.
Nope. Doesn't work on that planet.
But get someone else to permanently cripple that teenager first, and then kill them.
Kids can't be killed on this planet, not without dire consequences.
So it is Skyrim.
Yes, we'll just go with that.
Right, let's bring out the buckets.
The Fallout games.
Right. Where were we? Oh yeah, dude sent that message to Colleen and wanted to hear if he had heard back from her.
Mm-hmm.
The answer was no, he hadn't.
have Dude and Nemo come to a decision how they're going to earn 175,000?
I don't think so yet.
Well, Nemo is ready to go out and do more canvas this time for high stakes gambling on races and who might be running and fixing such things and how you get in on the action.
Okay.
Dude's gonna look online for any information for a possibility of how would you create your own financial institution?
Financial institution?
Well, we don't need to get the money to an educational institution. Maybe it's just a bank transfer.
Okay. No,
Yeah, it's a thought.
Following what you're intending with that. Is he thinking that the exchange of light would transfer some or all of these funds to a different financial institution?
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay. Yeah, he can start looking into that.
Yeah. I have severe doubts as to whether that's going to go anywhere, but it's just a thought that dude had.
Sure, and it's definitely something that he can look into and discover on his own. All right, Nemo. For the kind of information that he's seeking, passive observation is probably not going to be sufficient. He's really heard nothing about the wild market, although he knows that they exist from whatever research he's done into the planet, as well as from, well, Hugo went to a race at one. It's pretty careful. People are pretty careful about talking about that kind of thing openly, and whatever references you can find on internet searches or with internet searches are apparently snuffed out. They are deleted, and the only sign of them existing in the first place is that there is a archived search result with a blurb.
Right. Oh, he will reluctantly attempt a more direct investigation then.
Okay. All right. I will get to the two of you later. Oh, that's right. Colleen's in classes. All right. I'm back to you two.
I'm gonna deal with you two later.
Unless Colleen is doing anything other than attending classes.
Nope.
Okay. We'll start with Dude because yours is pretty quickly and easily resolved. Just some cursory searching. There are no other financial institutions on Lumiere. So the sudden existence of another one would definitely be suspect. It would raise red flags, and it might not even achieve anything. The Exchange of Light may simply not do any transactions or any business with it at all. The Exchange has this planet locked down, as far as banking goes.
All right.
And to be fair, the Exchange probably has most other high-tech planets in the same position, since it is the Exchange that can unlock secured cred sticks. I'll leave you to think on Dude's next move while I talk to talk about Nemo. So how do you think Nemo wants to go about that? Do you have an idea, or do you want to just let the dice talk?
Well, the idea would be that he would use his normal approach initially to try and zero in on where this kind of action takes place and who's running it, and then once he has an idea of that and has some names, then switch his interception filter keywords to those names for the moment, and see if you can pick up more leads that way, and then once he's found that, see if he can figure out any leads onto if action like this is taking place, and what would be what would be a smart what the smart betting action to take would be.
Okay, so he's starting off with his standard observation,
Yes.
trying to assess out potential gamblers, potential high stakes gamblers.
Yes.
Okay. Huh. Well, we'll start with the usual whiz notice check on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nick, what dice roll did you see?
A 4 and a 5.
Yep, I saw the correct roll as well.
Okay.
Unless you saw something else.
Did either of you reload Roll20?
I did not.
I've not.
Okay, so it fixed itself.
Yeah. So
Okay.
4 and 5, giving me the 8.
Not
that
for
I
me.
would've-
Oh, wait, he has a -1 somewhere. That's what the 8 is coming.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
-1 on notice.
Okay. Well, Lamiera isn't such a perfect place that there are no unscrupulous traders and folks around, and Nemo is able to kind of pick out some people that he thinks might. Well, a lot of people here look wealthy, so he's able to pick out some people who not only look wealthy but actually seem to carry themselves with real wealth, beyond just being affluent. Is this where he makes a quick interaction to find out their names?
Yes.
Make a quick introduction. Hi, I'm so and so. Okay.
Yes. He will actually. I'm pretty sure he's been around when Hugo has been talking about racing, because he's been talking about racing a lot.
He has talked about racing a lot. He has, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's fair to assume that Nemo has been around and observed that. So he will slip into, with the vocabulary he's picked up from that, to affect a notion that he actually has a slightest clue about what he's talking about.
Okay.
Since I assume that these races will be mechanical racing and not horse racing.
You are at House Charon right now.
Or space horse racing. if we want to go Star Warsy.
It's definitely going to be mechanical in nature, yes, because of where you're at.
Yes, then he will definitely adopt the vocabulary and demeanor that he's observed Hugo using when talking about this to affect the persona of an of an enthusiast with money to burn. So
seems like an
Curse?
appropriate time for a charisma chameleon roll.
Yes.
Because I could make it a charisma talk and make you burn another processing just to make it a charisma chameleon. But we'll go, yeah. I already said chameleon.
There you go.
Well, is he trying to do this individually, or is a group setting acceptable to him? Like, multiple people that are all talking amongst each other, or just one person that's that has come out of a shop. Mel? I think we may have lost Mel for a second. It's a good thing he got that roll out first. And he's back.
There we go. Yep, I lost sound there.
Okay. Is he trying to avoid one of the following? Is he trying to avoid talking to just a single individual person, and is he trying to avoid talking to a group of people?
No. Neither.
Both those are acceptable. Okay.
Yes,
So,
both those would be acceptable. The only thing he's actively trying to avoid is trying to avoid giving. He's very much trying to avoid giving the impression that he's an undercover cop or anything like that.
Okay. He is able to, from talking with a couple people and some small groups, he is able to get a sense of some races out in the wilds. There would be no such thing within city bounds, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And has had enough hints dropped that he could probably locate it.
Excellent. Did he find out when such races would take place as well? Because that would also be rather necessary.
It would. It's 2 days.
Okay. With that done, then he'll return back to Dude to touch base on that.
Okay.
If that's a plan we want to go forward with.
All right. Has Dude decided what else he wants to try and pursue after hitting the banking dead end?
Not really. He figures he'd see what Nemo came up with other than that.
Okay. Nemo returns. It's a few hours later. But if Dude's just kind of puttering around.
Yeah.
I seem to have lost music.
Yeah, so have I actually.
Oh,
I still have it.
Okay, well. It does mean that the stream is not getting it, though. Let's just start it and start it back up again.
There it is again.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's playing for the stream too. I can't quite hear it yet, but we'll see. Alright, thank you for letting me know. Every now and again, Roll20 just kind of stops broadcasting that music to not everyone, obviously, but some of the participants. So yeah, Dude and Nemo meet back up. Colleen is almost done with her classes.
Alright. Huh. I forget because I lost track of it and all this. What are the actual things getting raced?
Jet bikes, I
Okay.
assume.
Yeah. In this particular, it's not just one race, it's a series of races. Otherwise, you probably still would not be able to make your money.
Yeah.
It is, well, it's basically RC cars. Just larger.
Remote piloted jet drones.
Not jet, buggies.
Oh, okay.
But not actually, not actually piloted.
They are controlled by datapad.
Okay. No, I think that actually would make fixing the races easier. It's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Hopefully they've solved the real-time latency problems. I was going to say, that music is a lot louder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not hearing it. That's why I turned it up.
You're not getting it?
No, I'm not getting it at all.
I've been getting the music the whole time.
I haven't the whole time I've sleep, but I've been getting it until. But I got it as soon as I tried turning it back on.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to reload. I actually had to reload a browser.
Mm-hmm.
And there it went again.
Yeah, I wanted to reset it to make sure it was actually on randomized loop.
Has Nemo found out how much stake capital we might need in order to be able to start something up like this?
Were any actual figures mentioned, or just assume that it would be a lot?
What to bet on races?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you bet what you can. There's definitely a minimum, but it's well below what you've got, and it's well below what you'd need to be betting anyways if you're going to make any money.
Right, and now they don't have a limit or constraint on how high the odds can get. So if you can put a little money down on something that's a real long shot, you can actually make a ton of money.
Not so much.
Okay.
Because the races are in the wilds, and therefore for people who are less constrained by the laws, these things aren't supposed to exist. The potential audience is lower, and so you're essentially limited to the pot that's put in. The people that are holding the race are not putting anything in. They're trying to make money off of this. So if 10 people bid 10,000 each, that's more than you could make, because, like I said, the race holders want a stake also. If 50 people bid 10,000 each, you could, over the course of several races, and of course you can make a lot. It depends on what the turnout is. Nemo has assessed that it is likely to be a fairly good turnout. But that's basically your minimums. Is the odds don't play in as much as if there are 8 things racing, then your odds are 1 in 8 of winning. No handicaps.
Gotcha. So they don't run odds on the racers for outside bettors and whatnot. They say this guy's got a 10-to-1 chance, this guy's got a 50-to-1 chance. It's just everybody's got the same odds.
Yeah, these races seem like they're almost intended more for the fun factor of it. Remember, these are all people that are they're all at the very least affluent. There's very few ordinary wealth people here. And so the whole trying to bet on a long shot proposition, in my estimation of this planet, they don't tend to do that too much.
Hmm.
Not saying they're the best rich people in the universe.
So now, do the racers take a part of the pot?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Which also limits the maximum payout.
Mm-hmm. If you recall, Hugo actually won 15,000. I think that's what I gave him. I can't remember now. And in that race, there was actually no betting allowed at all.
Right. He just got prize.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to find a young boy, potentially a slave, with a big shiny silver robot who's got a racer that he just needs sponsoring for.
That's right. Yep, and we'll be good.
There are no slaves on this planet.
So this isn't pod racing?
And,
Preferably a child who was also conceived through immaculate conception.
and dude, after his "there are a lot of things on me bigger," is no longer allowed to speak with children.
Mm-hmm. But he'd need to grow a goatee if he's going to be Obi-Wan. Actually, no, Obi-Wan didn't have a goatee in that. Qui-Gon did, though.
It'd be Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes.
Well, Colleen's just the right age to be Padme for this, so we just got to find a 9-year-old kid to fall in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's not creepy at all.
I believe we left that kid on the ship.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you did.
Jesus Christ. So this certainly seems like it could be a money-making proposition, but it might take some doing to get up to the kind of fundage that we're still looking for.
Yeah,
And
you know
also
what,
the race itself is in 2 more days.
I realize, Matt, that your odds question kind of resolves itself. If half of all bettors bet on one thing, then the payout is already less. Because when that one thing wins, there's more people to pay out to.
Well, yeah, they usually when there's, well, the way that, I mean, as far as I know, the way they do it is if things are almost a certainty, you get at best like maybe a little bit of your money back. Like you make your money back in a little bit if you bet on the sure thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. If there's 9 people that bet on horse A and one person bets on horse B, then the 9 people are basically getting their money back minus the cut to the horse and the cut to the venue, plus splitting 9 ways that one person that bet on horse B.
All right. So if horse B wins, the horse A people are all shit out of luck.
Right, and
Of course.
horse A or horse B person wins a lot of money.
Right. Horse A
So yeah,
person.
there's no odds fixing. It's just how many people bet on the certain thing. I'm not actually going to factor that into any payout you guys get. Just kind of correcting myself on saying it's 1 in 8 chance.
Right. So this is more betting pool action than it is odds making.
Yes.
It's the Office March Madness pool. I remember people tried to get me in on those things. You gonna put your money in the pool? No, I don't give a shit about sports. And I like my money. Yeah. Yeesh, Nemo might be right.
I missed what Nemo said that he might be right about.
Well, it might just be easier to steal the damn thing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't miss. Forgot
Mm-hmm.
what you're referring to. Well, Colleen is just about out of school if you want to bring her in on the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, Nemo can wait a little while. Colleen is out of school and sends her a message letting her know to come over, or just kind of trust in fate. Yes, no?
Wait, sorry, I had a brain fart there. I heard fate.
Is a message being sent to Colleen telling her or asking
right.
her to come over, or are you just going to trust in fate that she'll randomly appear?
No, it would send a message saying.
Okay.
We'll say her name out loud 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've already discovered that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. That is.
Still being haunted by her, though.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Well, it didn't work how you wanted it to work. Works quite fine for her. Okay, Colleen gets dude's message.
Well, she would go over.
Okay. You are all in the same space and can discuss your plans to rip off a gentle old man who's just trying to help you in private.
Mm-hmm.
So, from my preliminary, as I understand it, we need a substantial amount of money in order to purchase computer hardware. My initial forays into potential revenue-making possibilities, and this world has led me to believe that it could be possible to achieve such funds through illegal gambling on drone races taking place 2 days from now. However, given the time constraint we're operating under and the unlikeliness of illegal gambling leading to the actual desired result, I feel that defrauding and or robbing and or stealing said equipment might be an easier solution.
Let's go back to the drone racing.
I think the idea is that drone racing has a pretty low potentiality of payout, and we only got 2 days of prep time to possibly do something about that.
I have the location for where the next high stakes race is taking, where and when the next high stakes race is taking place, and the necessary contact to find the race. But that's still no guarantee that we'd be able to reliably pick winners and winners frequently enough to reach the desired threshold of money that we need.
Well, how does one race in it?
How did I know you were going to ask that?
We are going to do a Phantom Menace, aren't we?
Pretty much. We're just swapping out Padme for their little Anakin there.
Hey, that's already been done
We're
by
getting
someone else.
We're getting a better actor
You
at
already
least.
did the racing part.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are getting the better actor, definitely.
From my understanding, the racing is done racing is done through remote control drones.
Yes, how does one race?
Oh, yeah, that's the question.
How does one enter the race?
Will they accept late entries or what?
I see no reason why they wouldn't. At least I'm sure that I'd be able to. I'm sure that I would be able to talk if there is a problem. I'm sure that I would be able to talk us through it, but we don't necessarily have a drone suitably outfitted for it.
And do remember, it's not a flying type drone. It's a ground based.
Yes.
It's a buggy.
Yeah.
Okay.
The terminology drone still works.
It does, but a drone is
It
also very
confuses
specific
people.
terminology in this game for flying drones.
True.
So I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Are you considering that within the two-day frame that you construct our own racing drone and enter that into the race?
Don't be silly. We buy a decent one and then modify the hell out of it. We got the school, get helping hands for a great project that I'm sure some teachers could assign. So we have the technology, we have the skill, and correct me if I'm wrong, if they allow late entries, the odds against the newcomer would be astronomical.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild it. We have we have the technology.
Yes, what we don't currently have is 6 million. That was the other plan.
Yes, the $6 million drone.
Point of note that Nemo would know. The drone is supposed to be a self-built drone. That shouldn't put a complete damper in your plans, but purchasing a store-bought drone is something that people racing from House Charon are likely to notice.
But wouldn't it be possible to modify said drone so it no longer assembles a store-bought drone?
You could try. That is absolutely an option.
Well, it'd be like, it's a kit bash. We get the baseline thing, rip as much off it as possible, and then start running in.
So
it's better to start from a base frame than to have to build the entire thing from scratch. This
So
isn't Speed Racer.
no, actually, it's not Speed Racer. It's Robot Wars.
Yeah. Well, no, the Speed Racer movie, they build a car
Yes,
from
I
scratch
know.
in 36 hours. Sorry, 32.
I know. It's just the whole
Mhm.
self-built drones remote control thing. It's
Oh, yeah.
basically Robot Wars. We need a self-riding mechanism and a giant spinning disc. Then we're set to go.
And a large hammer and a flamethrower.
And also Craig Charles to host it.
Yeah. Give me
I
a
really
minute.
love that show.
I gotta hit the bathroom real quick.
But yes, actually, Nemo could head back out right away to find out if there are any pitfalls that we need to be aware of if we wanted to enter an unknown late newcomer into the race.
Okay. It's pretty easy with the kind of contacts Nemo has already started making to inquire. Excuse me.
Presumably, would need to put her in a face-concealing helmet and call her Razor X. Move back to the Speed Racer theme.
One of the things that you're... Excuse me.
And also start talking like rapid-fire versions of William Shatner.
One of the things, the restrictions that you are seeing is it is supposed to be a hand-built drone or buggy, and Nemo is getting that not so much stated explicitly, but from a kind of derisive attitude towards what Matt was saying, kit bashing. You are in the city of robotics. Racers are really proving their building ability and not the ability to put something together.
Okay. Well, how long would it conceivably take to build one from ground up? That I assume could not be done in 2 days.
Funny you should mention that. I just looked, and having at least one assistant with Fix Zero will have this time. A week is kind of a general for other portable device, and jury-rigged devices have the time. So 1.75 days.
What if we use basically the students at the school as a project?
If there's one that has already built a drone, it definitely qualifies as a hand-built drone, as long as they didn't use a kit for it.
Not them to. No, not
Used
them
as slave
building
labor.
the drone. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you've got the assistants with Fix Zero. Having a whole squadron of them may improve your time a little bit. It may also just introduce delays. Unless you've got a really good leadership component.
Yeah, multiple people dealing all at the same time. 6 cooks making one pot of soup.
Yeah.
But you do have a really good leadership component.
Okay. I would definitely allow more people to work on the project and reduce the time with a really good, dedicated leadership, influence there.
Mm-hmm. Problem is do we need to keep from them what we're making, because this probably isn't completely legal. Somebody might go, "You're making a racing drone, dude."
So let me turn back to Nemo with the other relevant information. So kits are, from the impression he's getting, not, like I said, not explicitly, are not allowed. That doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't be able to fix one up so that it would not be as easily recognizable, but you're also dealing with people from this city at this race. So their skill ceiling for being able to find something like that is already higher. The barriers to entry, aside from that, are you just need to be there in advance so that they can put your name and catalog, put the pictures of your drone up so that the people that come to bet can flip through their options. You need to be there. Basically, registration is a few hours before the race.
Okay, so it's considered that the secrecy of the location and time of the race itself is sufficient to weed out people you don't want there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, excellent. He will relay that information right back to Dude and Colleen as he hurries back, since time is of the essence.
Mm-hmm. All right. And now these questions can be talked out in character amongst you.
So, as it turns out, it is absolutely possible to enter a late and unproven newcomer, but it would be necessary to construct the drone from scratch, seeing as this is apparently a point of great pride with the locals of the city.
Well,
That is wrong.
It's not necessarily. Well, of course, it'd be really funny to win with a Not handmade drone, but I don't know. Who the hell's gonna pilot this thing?
Me?
Colleen, presumably?
You think you got what it takes, kid?
I demonstrate but my drone is locked up?
Racing's a different thing. I don't know.
If we don't win, we'll use the weapons we built into the drone to steal them.
We're right back to Speed Racer now. Do we have a desert that we're going to be running through where we can hide in the dust cloud the machine gun that pops out the back of the drone and takes out the...
And there is an inspection to make sure that there are no ballistic, energy, or explosive weapons, or not even weapons, but capabilities on it.
No
We'll just put we'll put a stabilizing element at the rear of it that's very heavy. And then we'll drop it.
And could conceive of but very, very heavy but rather flimsily attached.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot!
Made from stone for whatever reason. Hard concrete. A tombstone, so to speak.
It's there for traction and downforce.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's the real spoiler.
Well, it spoiled somebody's day.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
And
is this not the
a very large external reserve oil tank, because it goes through oil very fast. So
And is prone to leaks.
yes.
Whatever.
What a crazy random happenstance.
Let's build that and just win the money that way.
I agree that this seems not only like a likely avenue of success, but also the one that poses the least moral quandaries.
Yeah.
Assuming that we rate the violation against local city statutes by participating in this unsanctioned raise as lower than grand larceny, theft, or identity fraud.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
You violate a lot of laws just by being here.
Then my
You're a wanted criminal. So
my calibrations are correct. Yes, I'm only asking for my own internal calibrations of where certain actions fall on the scale of morality.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm getting the impression he says this stuff. He doesn't actually care. He's just using it to establish baselines.
Exactly. I'm collecting data.
seems the best way to make the money. I mean, unless you give me the rest of the money you have and I'll go play on the local market.
I would, however, suggest that you don't raise under the name of Autre Mercure and should take steps to alter your appearance sufficiently to avoid any possible recognition as well. We are trying to keep a low profile.
Well, it's a good thing I made a new ident for her.
There you go.
Just, well, figure out what you want to do with your appearance, and we'll adjust your ident on the fly.
We just need to take her face off.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it off, Mel. Never letting that one go, are you?
Nope.
That's fair.
But time is of the essence, so we should certainly make the most of what we have and make the most of the resources available to us here.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are we going to do for materiel?
Well, we are in a school that has the material and the cheap workforce.
You know, get some of your friends involved? They seemed nice enough.
Well, one of them might have some skill, but I figured seeing how you're a teacher, you might have more people you can just draft for that sort of thing.
Well, they ain't exactly got me teaching. They've got me assisting folks with finalizing major projects and what. I'm here as a, I don't know, consultant
Well,
more
I'll
than
make
anything
this
else.
a major project.
Yeah.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Not drinking my own pee. Just putting that out there.
How do you think the water on the ship comes to be?
With enough recycling, you don't have to think about it.
Also, vac skins? What
I
do you
know.
think they do?
Yes, it's a still suit. I'm very aware of that. Well, I'll put in a request for the for some lab space. See what we can do. We've got a busy couple days ahead of us. And Dude will go down to the front desk to arrange for a slot.
Okay.
And put in a request. Put it in as a project request for. Damn it! Now I don't remember the second name we've got her running under.
Aubrey Plaza.
No, that's the third name.
I ain't
Oh,
helping
the
you.
Lovejoy one.
Hmm?
Wasn't it Darlene Lovejoy?
Yeah, it was Darlene Lovejoy. Yeah, that's right.
And here, dude runs into the problems of having multiple identities.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's Darlene Lovejoy.
All right.
Okay. He allows dude to request some lab time, and says that he'll check the schedule. But as far as any kind of project, the unless it's his personal project, the person that is handling it would have to approve their project plan, their basically do the administrative work of asking for the materials and all that for the project. So it would have to be Colleen doing that.
Well, I mean, obviously, dude knows this better than I do, but would he have thinking of that before he puts in the request? Does he feel like they wouldn't have a problem with the amount of materials he feels he's going to need for a personal project of his own?
Not really. And there's enough floating around. There's two problems that come with the way dude is currently trying to proceed with this. The first is the guy's first sentence. He'll find the time on the schedule. If you guys don't get started on this immediately, you run out of time. And he's already looking a day ahead. The second problem is that with making official requests to do a project means that there's official oversight.
Right.
So if you're trying to avoid that, then there's a problem with that. If you're not trying to avoid official oversight, then by all means proceed.
Yeah, the problem is that we're building something that that is almost certainly does not have any legitimate. I mean, anybody that's looking at this is going to go, "Oh, you're building a street race drone racer.
You're building an illegal racing drone."
Mm-hmm.
That is probably true.
Because so there are no legitimate outlets for these racing drones, right? They don't have
at this school.
Well, no, in this city. I mean, like, there's, as far as we know, there's no legitimate use for this type of drone. There isn't any. There's no professional league. There's no amateur leagues that don't have betting and shit.
They're toys. They really are just RC cars, slightly larger RC
Right.
cars. So,
Okay.
Zoe probably has like a half dozen of them from House Terran,
Alright.
in fact.
Okay, so building one of these things wouldn't necessarily put us on the radar of you're
No.
building a real street drone. It'd just be, this is one of those things the kids build and race.
Though it was, if one was to examine it in detail, they'd probably realize that we're boosting it to a degree that it probably.
Yes, and
It's going
that's
to be used for
where
that
any
purpose.
level of oversight may complicate things for you if you're trying to hide that.
Right. So
you-
would Dude have oversight if he was just going for a personal project?
He is still not staff here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a contracted services. His stay here is paid for by his occasional assistance with students.
Right.
So he can't oversee projects. He's just assistants.
Mm-hmm. But you said that they make space available for your own personal projects. Those still have oversight?
No, if for your own personal projects, if you're essentially getting all your own materials, if somebody walked in off the street and said, "I've got this thing I need to build, I've got all my materials already, do you have space?" They could schedule a little bit of lab time,
Right.
or not lab time, but workshop.
That's where and that's where we're talking about a day out. Is you
Yes.
get the lab space, we just don't have the time.
Mhm.
If we make it an official project, we might get the time. Now we've got oversight.
Mhm.
Boy. And mechanically, there's no way to shave any more time off this thing. If we threw 20 more people at it, it's still...
No, not rules as written, but
Yeah.
I did say that you get a bunch of people that are well coordinated, and Nemo has put forward that he can do that coordination.
Problem is getting all those people and getting them all together on our project, not anybody else's. I mean, Dude's probably made a few friends here and there over the last, what have we been here, like a week? But probably not enough to be like, I need everybody to help me. Hey, let's help Dude.
Amusingly enough, by emulating Camp Nemo can be a better leader than her. Mechanically.
Kind of how his particular line of Ada advances or evolved.
Yes.
So we're actually at 11:45. You've got some hardships and things to think about. Do you want to use our last 15 minutes to go over those things in character, out of character, or leave them for the next session?
Well, Dude's got one thing he's gonna try. He's gonna run in character real quick.
Okay.
So when he sees that the schedule's that far out for a personal project, he says, "Okay. Well, tell you what, pencil me in. I'm kind of on a time crunch. I might need to do something else, but put my name in, and I'll get back to you in a little bit. Thanks, man."
Yeah, he puts your name in.
Heads back to the room. So if we're going to try to get this thing done, they don't have a lab slot available for a day. We ain't going to build this thing in a day if we're going to build it just on our own, without anybody looking over our shoulder. Kid, your interactions with what the hell would she be? The headmistress, principal?
She is headmistress.
Okay. Your interactions with the headmistress. She's trying to put you on the right path, and she wants you to direct your energies. Do you think you'd be able to get her to approve you putting together something like this? as one of your as one of your school projects on a short time frame without her, either without her knowing that you think without her knowing that this is what it is, or do you think you'd be able to get her buy-in on something like this as a learning experience for you?
Or I could stay on my path and I have everything approved in 15 minutes.
Your path?
I'll just take over the school system.
Oh, shit.
It's better to not ask permission and not get caught than ask permission and be denied.
Alright, now Nemo, this is an example of a bad influence. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this particular setup and situation here and regard this as a poor example.
Duly noted.
And just file that away. How confident are you that you can take over the system?
Do you even have to ask?
I mean, I'm looking for a no bullshit assessment just to make sure that you're not going to run the risk of setting off alarms and shit. Actually, wait a minute. When it comes to it, she thinks you're full of piss and larceny to begin with, so if you get caught doing this, she's just going to give you more classes in etiquette and protocol and shit. So, you know what?
Well, actually, they kicked me out, but still.
Yeah, well. We'll find another place. Rock on, kid. Do
Can't
what you
help
gotta
but
do.
notice from my own observations that proceeding with these avenues of questionable moral content appears to run a stressingly high likelihood of leading to a cascade of further events of questionable morality.
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, I believe the term that you're looking at is slippery slope.
I was just going to point out that I programmed him to a certain degree.
I see that makes sense.
But no, I don't think she would approve a project without oversight, and the second she sees a drone, she might remember the last time I had a drone.
Well, yeah, that's true. Alright, kid. Go ahead and get cracking. Just,
Actually, Emo, I need you to do something for me.
Yes?
But she would just send him one of her tiny little things. Name escapes me right now.
One of her what?
Give me a moment, I'm trying to remember. Line chunks. That's the name.
Yes.
Sorry, my brain is not fully active. And then she would show him where to apply it, and then send him off to do that sneakily, because chances are it might arouse less suspicion.
Absolutely. Tell me where you want to plant it, and I will make sure to do so.
So the challenge that you're going to face with this line chun is not getting to where it needs to be placed or accessing any kind of hidden compartment. It's that it's kind of out in the open.
Oh, that's why he's supposed to apply it sneakily. I mean, it's not that obtrusive a device.
It's also not that inconspicuous of a device.
Right.
It will be visible, and it is something that is it's line shunts are noticeable
Yes,
when they're.
but couldn't you, put a potted plant in front of it or something?
That's part of that. That is actually part of where your challenge is going to be. Is figuring out how to obscure it and keep it obscured for as long as Colleen needs the hack to remain active.
Right.
And where is Colleen going to be hacking from?
Well, I figured once something is in place, she can just do it from a terminal somewhere. They
Mm-hmm.
must have things for students to use.
I'll remember
Sure, she has homework.
the placement of the shunt depends on where she's going to be.
I mean, where would it have to go if she wanted to do it basically from her own little tablet? Or,
Well, let me rephrase.
I mean, how are the computer facilities in this place?
Let me rephrase
For
what I mean by that. The line shunt is going to be in the same basic area no matter where she is on her terminal. But where it's placed specifically in that area needs to be a result of knowing where she is standing or what terminal she is using. For a basic analogy, if she's using computer A, then the line shunt needs to be placed 2 inches up from center point. If she's using computer B, the line shunt needs to be placed 2 inches left from center point. So,
Well, in that case,
exactly
what is
where
the
Nemo
layout of
places
the
it.
computer facilities? Kinda, is there somewhere where a student that has to study hard and not be interrupted basically has like a room with a computer?
Yeah, there are personal. It's a row of computers, but they're kind of how you see in those. I guess I was gonna say old libraries, but it might be modern libraries too, or universities, where there's a divider between the computers. Kind of like a bathroom stall for computers, but with no door.
Well, see, mine actually has rooms for that sort of purpose. There's like the open computer labs and things with dividers, and
I
then there
gotcha.
are actually like silent rooms where you can have your computer because you need to be not bothered by people.
Yeah, this building doesn't have that. This building isn't so. It does a lot of the programming stuff, but it's not really. That's not the main focus. So there's no silent rooms for computer access.
Well, guess you would pick one of those then.
Okay. All right. She can pick one of those and then tell Nemo, how many centimeters or whatever to offset from central point, or basically just tell him exactly where to put it.
Mhm.
Well, it basically has. Well, does that thing need to be on the terminal she's using? Because in that case, she doesn't need them.
No.
It's different from it goes somewhere on the central server node.
Yeah, it goes somewhere else.
Alright, but yeah, then she would tell him exactly where that thing needs to go.
Okay. And
And she shows him how to use that thing so to basically trigger the color shift that blends in.
Right.
do line shunts have a blending?
Yup. Palm-sized disc, 1 centimeter in thickness, and polychromatic phase compound on
Okay.
shell, which will shift color to blend with surroundings.
Okay.
Fancy.
It is still noticeable. It's not complete. It's not turning it invisible. So somebody who knows, hey, there shouldn't be a bump there, will see it. But it's not as immediately visible as I had put it out to be.
Yeah, Nemo, given the time, Nemo will also observe the area a bit in advance to determine when it is least likely when it is most likely to most likely to be able to place it with a minimum of witnesses.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and end on that.